Okay, good evening and welcome to Mo Knows featuring me, Mo, Monica, Mo Justice. All right, I'm gonna wait for a quorum while I take a moment to do my sound check. Because I'm a one woman machine here. Okay, good evening and welcome to Mo Knows featuring me, Mo, Monica, Mo Justice. All right, so I definitely know y'all got an echo there because I heard it myself. But because I didn't put my stuff, I didn't do my pre stuff. So that one doesn't count, but it definitely was an echo. Because I didn't put All right, that's not gonna help either because I don't have my Bluetooth on. Oh Lordy, Mo. And yes, I'm still crocheting. The reason why I came back out here is because these trials. I think it'd be me listening to folks or just wanting to. I, I would. I wish everybody stay in their lane. These. All right, hold on. Cause my thing is not fully charged. All right. Why would somebody be contacting me? What is wrong with folks? Hold on. People is crazy. All right. Hold up. Wait a minute. I gotta go get something. I'm trying to see what shape my headphones are in. Well, apparently not very good shape. I am definitely gonna work this a different way myself. I'm still working on how I'm gonna make changes for myself. Cause I be wanting to do things and then I can't accomplish the things I want to do. Hold on a second. All right, I do not hear echo. I kind of know how to prevent that, but since I don't have, it's just a one woman band show right here. Thanks for the like. Hit the like before you take a hike. Okay. All right. So, for those of you who don't know, this week I was watching the case of Tennessee versus um Hernandez Govon. And the case began on Monday. That was day 1, Tuesday, day 2, day 3. It went to the jurors um for their determination. And they today came back on day 4 with a not guilty on all charges. And I believe one that was the correct verdict. That's how I would have. That's the way I was leaning. That's number one. Um, Number two. Hold up. I realize I have not. Let's just go over here to here and let's do that. Let me come back over here to here and see what that looks like. Okay, we're back. Hi. I'm waiting to see what it looks like. All right. So they so the jurors came back with a not guilty verdict, and I believe that that is the most appropriate verdict based on the information that was presented. I further went through the closing arguments, which I did not in the earlier version, that I did not come back to do last night. Um, and I'm gonna tell you real talk. When I woke up this morning, this case was heavy on my heart. And the reason why it was heavy on my heart is because it's so easy to want to lock away people and throw away the key and don't let them out. But we've got too many people incarcerated who haven't done the crime they're in there for. We've got too many people incarcerated for an unjust amount of time. When I look at the sentencing of some of the folks in the YSL case, I feel like it's too much. It doesn't allow for rehabilitation. It doesn't allow for a person to have a healthy life. Um, and it creates recidivism. In the aforementioned case here, there were a lot of things that went wrong from the prosecutor's um stance. In the beginning, I asked the question, where is my favorite prosecutor in Tennessee? I need to know where Hackman is because I feel like one, had he presented this case, um, I may have seen it from a different perspective, or it may have been put on from a different perspective. It may have been presented a different way. To later hear people or listen to other commentary across the YouTube space or across social media space or digital platforms assert that there are elections coming in Tennessee and that folks that were prosecuting this case was doing it for the political stance. If that is true, that's disheartening. But the first level of having elected politicians and elected prosecutors and elected um, judges is to ensure that you have a system that is accountable to you. So I do believe in voting for judges. I do believe exercising my local level politics because it is the first layer of getting justice. It's the first layer of building, it's the first step or it's the first ingredient. Because tonight, you know, I'm creating my satire around their collective thought to call this case Operation Cookie Monster. All because the decedent was executed in the cookie shop. It just shows how blatantly disrespectful the law enforcement is to the communities that it services. They don't care nothing about us, period. And we find ourselves in these situations of breaking down our communities and not holding each other accountable for how we govern ourselves in our community. Me myself, I do believe in street justice. Um, Not at the level of going around here and executing people in the middle of broad daylight. But I do believe in street justice in terms of the community needs to police itself and eradicate itself of people who are not law abiding citizens. And they need to make and hold their elected officials and people that they pay their taxes to accountable to them and in doing their job fully. In New York, they say that the police department is supposed to be respectful and they have it um professionalism and it's written on their vehicles, right? They get in those vehicles every day and they pay those words no attention. And in this case, you had so many different things going on. First, it begins with the senseless murder. And it's senseless because a person was hunted down. They said they went hunting. It's just the stuff it's disturbing at best. But what's more disturbing to me is that people are given a lens into the judicial system because the court cases are covered here in our forum, the YouTube. And we can all see what occurred and still come out here and listen to people tell the story backwards. It's not with their own perspective. No, 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 no. Your own perspective is doing something like this. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Concrete content creators stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Not me. Then who? Let's look at I want us tonight to explore a few things in this case and taking it from the nursery rhyme, Who Stole the Cookie from the Cookie Jar? Today, this court case was not stolen by the jury's verdicts because I'm hearing people feel so outraged for the family of Dolph, right? I don't see that. I don't feel that outrage, and it's not because I can't relate to the family. I don't see that outrage because one individual is currently serving time that was brought to trial, and a jury of his peers in that same courtroom found him guilty of committing that crime. The injustice would be if that judge allows the man who testified to walk. There's no redemption in my view. There's not enough snitching. There's not enough turning state evidence for him to ever be let out of jail. If that state's laws lead to life imprisonment. What we saw was a flagrant disregard for everyone's life. The young lady who was inside of the cookie store, the bakery. Do you believe or do you think for one moment that in a Caucasian community or any community other than the black community, Would the police department have named this case Cookie Monster, Operation Cookie Monster? I be getting mad at the wrong things. Now I watch a bunch of YouTubers. Um, I watch a bunch of male YouTubers to hear male perspective on things. This guy got some music in the back of his video. But I wanted to share him with you this evening because there was some things that he was saying that I would like to put some clarity on, based on what I observed during the trial. Ooh, I need to go to here. All right. I'm really becoming a YouTuber when I don't want to be, when I don't want to be this kind of YouTuber. Hold on, let me, cause I hate playing other people's stuff. But I understand that context is needed. Okay. So let me go here and let me take it back a little bit. So he starts this out. He played the news conference. I haven't seen this part of the news conference. I listened to some of it. I'm already over it. They won the case. I understand that. Um, I do believe, at the end of the day, I do believe that Hernandez Govin represents an element in the community that is also bringing down the community, right? He his attorney, by and through his attorney, admitted that he was selling narcotics to the to the dude, um to Mr. Smith, who they like. How crazy is this? They name this Operation Cookie Monster, and then their key witness, everyone is calling their key snitch, right? Everyone's calling him cornbread. I'm just so over it. Is there any baked goods not on the table right now? You can't make this stuff up. Like it just you can't make it up. Um, hold up. Let me come over here and let me get here we go.
For multiple people. And it is a glorious day for multiple people.
I think all right.
Um, we have people from the CMG side. We have people from Hernandez Govan's family. They are happy, you know. But then the victim's family. We have people that are from Young Dolph's side. His record label, Paper Route Empire, his child's mother, his kids, um, mother and father, everybody that loved him is sad because to them today, they didn't get no justice for Dolph.
I know that they did not want to conduct any interviews at the conclusion of this case. So I can understand there being a hurt feeling out there.
And being that they was okay with letting him go,
Now, what does this mean I want y'all to pay close attention to this perception of how the system, the judicial system works. As victims, right? The family is considered a victim of this heinous crime. They don't have any say in who gets to go. They don't have any say in these things. Folks who are victims often think that they are in control of what the prosecution does. The prosecution is responsible for providing justice or pursuing justice on behalf of whom? We the people. Not any particular person, not any specific family member of any victim. They look at it as a whole. It's we the people.
I know they got to be thinking like, man, like, dude,
I know they got to be thinking. So this is not this is on the person's opinion. So I'm gonna treat it just like that. He's entitled to his own opinion.
we make a mistake when we allow the state to say, hey, yeah, he can pay his bond and we can turn him loose. They got to be wondering because
They don't have no say in that. They don't have any say in that. A person receives or is eligible for bond if they pass some in some states they call them Iola factors. If they're able to pass some factors. Number one, most people who are involved who are charged with murder, right, who have the top charges murder, don't receive a bond at all because the crime in and of itself is so heinous that you would find them to be a threat to society, right? They're a threat to the community. So you wouldn't want to release them back into the community while they stand trial. So in many cases, you will not find someone who's charged with um attempted murder, murder charges that high. You will not capital offenses. You will not see them being granted bail or in this case bond. In a lot of states it's bond. They will not be out on bond, but it's not because of um any particular family member's desire to have them in jail or out of jail. The prerequisite for to be granted bond is that you're not a flight risk, meaning that you're going to disappear and not come to trial. It is that you are not going to cause any more damage in the community other than the charge that is before you that you're defending yourself against. That you're not going to intimidate witnesses while you are out and about. And those are the ones that you're not going to be a danger to society and that you can afford the amount of bond that they put out on you, which is called the surety, to ensure that you return to court. All that is a promise that you're going to see that trial out. Otherwise, they will hold you while you're innocent until proven guilty to ensure that you show up for court. That's all that is at that time. Is that the person that's being accused is going to come forward and face the consequences. Hey, Clarendon, but you know you elemental P over here. So I'm just listening.
when I remember when that first happened, I thought that um Govan was gonna flip on all his, the people that were supplying him with the money to do stuff and all that. I thought he was gonna flip, and that's why they was okay with him being released. But no, I mean, I would have to believe. I had to think in my mind that I know Young Dolph family is probably thinking to themselves like, we shouldn't have did that because one thing I come to understand about the judicial system, if you fighting a case and you free, it looks better to the jury than if you're fighting a case and you're locked up. Because when
All right, pause. Pause. The jurors, the people who determine a case, should not know that you're incarcerated, which is why they put people in street clothes. All defendants are encouraged, and it is a bias, right? If you don't allow them to wear street clothes to look as if they are free. So no, pause is just what we say when we gonna stop something. So this right here is an interesting construct of how the system works. And I'm hoping that as I continue to really pursue trial T with Mo, that I walk away or I take apart these misnomers about the system as we explore these cases. So this is not that somebody is wrong. It is wrong. It is a misconception of the process. Folks are incarcerated. This is not. This is not so. I just was so taken back by this whole construct. A jury should always believe that all the defendants are not being held until trial. But in the last couple of weeks that I've been watching cases, I've heard defendants, attorneys tell folks that their client is incarcerated or being detained and to please take that into consideration because they want to go home. I just been like, oh wow. Normally we don't say that. I know that people believe that, and I understand where this thought process comes from. But at the end of the day, maybe some of the things surrounding the justice system are not aligned with how things are going down in today's society. Maybe they need to rethink some of those things. I'm late to the party. Oh, I don't know who this guy is. No, this is not. No, this is not him. I'm speaking on the case of, the rapper Young Dolph, who was executed um in 2021. Hold on a second. So I'm speaking on that. That's what my commentary is about this evening. That's the trial that I'm covering. I looked at it all week, and there was a verdict, and now I'm listening to the fallback from it. Um, but I believe that the fallback is that people are watching commentary instead of watching it for themselves. Instead of watching these cases for themselves and coming to their own conclusions. It's unfortunate. Yes. It appears from the information that was presented during the trial that it's more than likely that Big Juke um, was the person that had something to do with some of this stuff.
You locked up and you coming in there fighting the case, the jury is looking at you like, damn, they still got him locked up. The state must really believe he's guilty. But
That's not how the jury should be looking at it for the reasons that I previously stated. But I understand that this is the belief that people have.
if you coming in fresh from the street, ain't no guard surrounding you and unhandcuffing you and all that old type of stuff. I mean, you look different, to them. And even though
And watch him walk it back now.
in the courtroom, they don't let the jury see them taking the handcuffs off you and stuff like that. But we'll be a fool to believe that the jury don't look at the news and know who locked up and who ain't locked up.
We'd be a fool to believe that the jury doesn't look at the news. What was surprising in the closing arguments is that it sounds to me that this jury was sequestered, so they wasn't going home every night. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I put it out there anyway because sometimes people want to come up here and speak instead of chatting inside the chat.
And stuff like that. So that right there probably played a big role in him being found not guilty. Uh, my personal perspective, I didn't believe that the defense did a good job, but I mean, obviously, I'm
It's not that the defense. I agree with him. I don't believe that the defense did a good job. I believe that the evidence wasn't there. The defense doesn't have the burden. See, this is again another example of burden shifting. The defense doesn't have the burden to prove that you are innocent. The law says you're innocent until proven guilty. The defense has the burden to ensure that the state is doing their job, or he often referred to it as the government, which leads me to believe that he really tries more federal cases. But nevertheless, that the government has the burden to show their evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. All the defense has to do is to evidence doubt, show inconsistencies, poke holes at the case. In this instance, I don't even think that they poked holes at the case. I think that they demonstrate, no, not even I think. I believe they demonstrated full-heartedly that the state did not have a case, that their prima facie case did not meet the elements of the charges that they gave this man. They didn't charge him with selling narcotics to the dude. Like, they didn't charge him with things that they probably could have charged him with that would have been more substance than the conspiracy charge. Everyone says, look, this is what I'm hearing. They had tons of evidence. They didn't have tons of evidence that they presented and showed a clear and convincing case to anyone. They told the jurors to go look at the stuff for themselves. Take it back there and research it for yourselves. They didn't bring enough witnesses forward to present a case. Now, I've heard arguments on or different platforms say that there was so many motions that these lawyers had pretrial motions, which called motions in limine. They had some motion in limine um hearings that precluded some information or prevented the prosecution from putting certain information forward. If that is the case, then they did their job. You understand? They held the state to the fire to present a case that was not biased and that was clear. I want to say concise and to the point. But it's hard in a conspiracy case in the first place to show that there was a conspiracy. So you need to be able to say, so and so went to the parking lot over here, or to the gas station, or to the car wash. And you need to show where they went to the car wash, not just the guy who stood up in the middle of the street and shot and killed somebody in front of a cookie store and take his word for it. His credibility, he belongs incarcerated forever. I can't wait. You know what they should have been doing today? They should have been setting the date for his trial. When he's going to come forward and we see what the fruit of his presentation was.
I must have been wrong, but I didn't believe that they did a good job. I was more leaning toward the prosecution. And the reason for it is because of the evidence. Here it is. You have
Okay, let's explore the evidence that he believes was there.
this man right here connected to everything. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. Orange man.
This is how the prosecution was talking to the jurors. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. But is he going to be able to point us to the evidence? So let me hear what he saw. And again, this is no disrespect to anyone. It's just trying to get a better understanding of what people are seeing out here and what how folks interpret information when we've all seen the same thing.
Found Quet was connected to everything, to all the participants in the murder of Young Dolph. He was there. He was connected to Straight Drop. He was connected to Cornbread, and he was connected to Big Jook. And from my understanding, they proved those connections by text messages.
They proved those by text messages. No, they didn't. They even in their closing statement, they couldn't point you to one definitive text message that said, "Go do this, go do that, meet me here, do this, do that." They didn't show you a conspiracy on that level with text messages. To the contrary, I didn't see any of those. I didn't hear testimony about any specific text message. But maybe he heard one that I didn't hear that is connected. The only thing that I recall hearing a text message about is something about, can you send me somebody's number? And it wasn't the day of the murder.
Phone calls, phone calls, text messages before the murder, phone calls, text messages after the murder. You see? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, then, all right, well, they showing that he's connected. But then not only that, they showing that he's connected by one of the persons who killed Young Dolph. Listen, a person that sat there and shot this man to death is connecting this man to the murder. Now, I know the gangsters in the comments and stuff like that. I mean, I don't expect y'all to understand this type of stuff because y'all gangsters and y'all criminals. And, I'm supposed to be up here saying, yeah, that's right, he beat the system and all that. But I'm not in that type of lifestyle. But once I used to be like,
I don't think it's a matter of at this point this man beat the judicial system. I think it's the first time the underdog that wasn't rich. Cuz remember everybody that had deep pockets, right, weren't brought to trial. Maybe had they been brought to trial, they would still be alive today. They gave a list of all these co-conspirators. that they would have liked to have brought to trial, but they was all deceased. Someone has taken them out since this began.
like y'all, and I would be saying, yeah, turn them loose and stuff like that. I would have been, doing what y'all doing, but that's not my life no more.
Okay, much due respect. Um, it's not a lot of people's lives, but injustice can hit any of us at any moment. You, the edict is you would want one guilty person to go free. No, you would want 10 guilty persons to go free, then have one not guilty person, one innocent person be found guilty. Something to that effect. This is not beating the system. This is when the system has not been prepared for, was not prepared properly.
A taxpaying citizen. I'm a civilian, right? And yeah, just from the evidence and from the connections, I'm like, man, this dude right here is gonna go down. It didn't.
Just because you know somebody, tell me who you walk with and I tell you who you are. First of all, that dude, Hernandez, too damn old to be hanging around these people. Um, he could have used better judgment when they talked about choices. He definitely, as an elder, should have held a different position in this situation. But I point out some key things for me. Key things for me is hearing Cornbread talk about how he called up the defendant to get his phone out of the car that was parked across the street from his house. But he also testified that he wanted to get back there and clean off the car and do it in a way that he doesn't get shot by by the defendant for being across the street in that abandoned property going to mess with the car. If you're co-conspirators and if this is what y'all are working together doing in concert with one another, there would be no reason to be timid that you going back there to clean the car off. Yes, I could see you. Um, you going back there to clean the car off is a big it's a big deal. It's like if you was part of a conspiracy with old boy, then he would know. Why would you need it? Why would you have needed him to go and get your cell phone if you planned on going back there and cleaning the car off, and if you planned on going to get car covers and put car covers on there and so on and so forth? It just it just don't make no sense.
Look good for him. And look, I'm shocked. This is like millions. I'm talking about millions of.
You should be shocked. I'm hearing that millions of people are shocked. You should be shocked that the prosecution wastes taxpayers' money on this level of a prosecution. What they should have done when he didn't settle and take no deal and do all of this is back out of this themselves. Said there's not enough. Um, maybe more they say you can't sue, but maybe more people should be able to sue prosecutors for malicious prosecution. And some of this stuff would stop. But there was a lot of the um COVID, Govin, whatever the hell. Mr. Hernandez G, he doesn't have he's learned something about not snitching. Because I think that's what this boils down to. A lot of people in communities know when stuff has happened. They just don't go run into the popo to tell them about it. And that might have been his true crime. That he was aware of the fact what these young men had done, and he just didn't snitch on them. But understand, if a payout, if everybody was looking for money, right? And Coven wanted, or Govan wanted, needed the 10,000 that he didn't get from Big Juke as the payoff based on this conspiracy, he sure as hell could have turned them in with the car, etc., to get what? Whatever what is that thing they give out when they want information leading to the arrest and conviction of people? This is clearly, to me, in my view, from my perspective, when the community doesn't snitch. And this is why a lot of times, yeah, the reward. This is why oftentimes you do not have people. This is why the streets handle some of this stuff on their own, because they don't want to be in this disappointing situation that you see right now. This disappointment that you're hearing from folks, it is that reason. The lack of trust in the system is that reason. But when people who can obviously look at this case for themselves and listen to the evidence for themselves and come to their own conclusion, not what they heard, but can actually go in there and pull up the videos and just watch them. It's a 3-day trial. You can sit here and watch it for yourself, undeveloped, and you can hear the questions that were asked, the answers that were given, and you would see that this was most likely the outcome that one would have gotten from that level of prosecution.
The people are probably shocked too because I believe that the state put on a good case.
How? Evidence it. Give examples of how the state put on a good case. I never, I normally, I prefer a good battle. This was unfair. This was not a good case. They did a piss poor job at what they did. And they got emotionally connected at the end.
Not only that though, y'all, not just the text messages and stuff like that, but the gun. His co-defendant said that that Govan, Orange Mound Quet, gave him a gun. He gave
Okay. He said that he gave him a gun. How did they corroborate that story?
a gun to Cornbread, right? And with that right there, I mean, like if that ain't conspiracy, I don't know what else is.
Finding the gun that was given, finding the person that sold Coven a gun that he gave to Cornelius, that Cornelius used in this execution, having Lotus, Hodis, I don't know what they call their system, a Avon match, whatever it is, having one of those matches come up. It's called evidence. It was lacking in this case. We would like to believe that that's what we saw, but that's not what was presented to those folks. And this is another reason why people don't want to serve as jurors. And what I also found very interesting is that there was no A conversation from the judge to the jurors that they had a right to remain silent afterwards. Only they had, it was like, bye, y'all. Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you for your services. The whole thing is just disrespectful. It it crumbled.
To give somebody a gun to go kill somebody, I, I thought that was conspiracy, right? Even though he used that gun to go shoot at paper route Wu, and he didn't use that gun to go shoot at Dolph, but
Pause. Now listen to what homie is saying. He's saying y'all had a conspiracy, and this is key. Y'all had a conspiracy against the Dolph, against the execution style of Dolph, right? And then you have evidence here, or you have a testimony from Cornbread saying that he gave him the weapons that were related to another paper route um PRE talent that was shot at, that he supplied the weapon. But in your charging document, the state failed to make that connection. They didn't charge him with that. They didn't they There was no charge that was related to paper route Woo. That would have further strengthened a conspiracy if you would have charged him for that activity. They didn't even charge him for that. So he didn't get indicted on that. But then they brought that up into this trial. That is that's so prejudicial. It was intended to taint the juror's perspective on the situation. It's like sliding something in through the back door. It's wrong. And it doesn't further state that they had a conspiracy if they didn't have enough wherewithal to put it in their charging document. They put it in their case. That's how come we are familiar with it.
but still, with him being connected to straight drop and telling them, hey, look, man, y'all gonna get paid for killing Young Dolph and introducing them to Jook. Yeah, here go the big man right here. Not only that though, they was gonna pay him after the killing of Young Dolph. Had they get all their money like that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to need somebody to help me out in this criminal world. So let me just see how this is supposed to go down. So, Big Juke, according to this scenario, right? We're supposed to believe that Big Juke is going to pay out $100,000 for the execution of so and so. And then he's going to give the money. I don't know how. Is he going to cash app it, super chat it? What, like how's he going to get it, right? But he's going to now split $100,000. Not to mention that the case in chief, it went from $1 million to maybe a $500,000. Like there was some other numbers being discussed and what it could have been. But it all came down to $100,000 split between two men, 50,000, 50,000, and then they both were supposed to give 10% of $100,000, right? To this dude. So not only are they the dumbest criminals ever, but they don't even know math. Because if you only have to give 10% of the bounty, right, to your connection, that would mean it's only $10,000, not $10,000 a piece. So the math wasn't even math, and they was getting ripped off in the beginning, the middle, the end. So this guy who was on trial was supposed to get $20,000. And they was supposed to get 40 a piece. No, the math ain't math, and they think we stupid. Like it it's coming from someone who's addicted to stuff. This was what was going on in his head. He had an imaginary contract. Or he had a contract and he was getting ripped off in every direction possible, even down to his testimony in this case. He's been used and abused so poorly that it's weird how his life ends up this way. He ends up in this situation. I'm talking about cornbread. I'm talking about the snitch. It's unfortunate. And he still gets shuffled around. He's going to get this lawyer, that lawyer. I'm like, if this ever becomes on a federal side of anything, man, there's going to be lawyers in trouble because they were taking the payment knowing that the proceeds may have come from. I said this when I heard the trial, and they was like saying 38,000. I said, so where's your lawyer who took this $38,000 out of a brown paper bag? That is blood money. That you are saying, I got paid to pay my lawyer, and that's why I'm going home. That sounds ridiculous to me. And he said this under oath. That man ain't never going home. And that's what's going to be the sad part. It's a tragedy in a tragedy unfold in the public space for all of us to see the breakdown of a black man. I'm just going to leave it like that.
According to what they've been saying, he was gonna get broken off. Hey, here, we're gonna give you 10,000. We're gonna give you 10,000 here. Anytime y'all kill somebody, I'm gonna get the money and y'all break me off. A big jerk gonna give y'all the money and y'all break me off. That ain't conspiracy.
Okay, so now, no, sir, because if they would have got the money, how was Hernandez going to get his cut? Hernandez would have been looking for them for his cut of the money. He wasn't even thinking about them. They said he was indigent in the trial, meaning he didn't have no money. The only person walking around here with a $38,000 lawyer was that other dude. This is crazy time. This is on some crazy stuff right here. It doesn't make sense. Earlier, I said the story didn't fit. That's why the jury had to acquit.
I mean, according to the law books, I thought that was conspiracy. Especially to have somebody murdered and that person end up getting murdered, and that's not conspiracy. Look, let me tell y'all something. This between us, right? The hood educated residents and the guests.
Okay. I'm a guest over here in the hood educated residents. I'm going to need the hood to educate me because I know I'm hood. I know I'm straight out the mud underneath the dirt, right? I know I come straight out of it and this don't make no sense to me. This ain't normal. Even for ghetto standards, this is not normal. You don't do contracts with crackheads. You do not do contracts with junkies. You do not do contracts and expect to come out smelling like a rose. Shucks. Cornbread is lucky to still be alive. It's just the craziest thing that I never did hear.
Since y'all here,
Okay,
look,
Miss Risa, thanks for coming
if I
through.
can decide to get back in them streets and start gang banging and drug dealing and doing
Okay, listen. I don't know what older person, cause see, he got all this white hair up here. So I'm gonna say him and I is about in the same age group. I'm just gonna say that. There's no way. This why some of you OGs need to stay off the street. This is what in politics the old timers don't want to hand over stuff to people. The street life, the OGs, they don't want to hand over stuff to the younger people. There's no passing of the torch. And that's why y'all have no ethics in the street gang or any other kind of stuff because nobody's handing over their power until they find themselves in the cemetery. There's no transition going on. No one's raising anybody. It's the craziest stuff.
Doing everything that harms, I'm moving to Memphis. Yeah, I'm going back to the crib. That's where I was born at. I'm going back to Memphis. And with stuff like this happening, I can understand why the I'm talking about the crime
Oh, now let me say something now. Him might know something I don't know. Cause see, I don't come from Memphis. Now I have peoples and they've got peoples. Cause I remember when I first got here and I was having all kinds of issues up in here. And I remember people telling me they got peoples. But and I know it's bad. So maybe he knows something. Maybe he got some insight that didn't hit the courtroom. And that's where his feelings are coming from. Cause I know for me, when I hear some stories about Southside Jamaica Queens from the 80s and the 90s, I know some things that didn't make the airwaves. So I get that. I'm with you. I'm with you.
rate, the murder rate is so high down there in Memphis. Y'all turning murderers loose down there. And this is no disrespect to the hood educated residents in Memphis. I'm talking about y'all criminal judicial system. I'm talking about y'all bad police work. I'm talking about y'all prosecutors and judges. Like, man, they letting killers loose. Man, if I decide to get back into that lifestyle, man, I'm going back to Memphis. I got a better chance of beating the case in Memphis than anywhere else in the United States, possibly. And you wouldn't think that, being that when you look at the first 48 and Memphis be on there, all them boys down there telling the truth and nothing but the truth, you like, yeah, man, Memphis don't play. Shit, where's Mason at? Where Detective Mason? You know, I mean, she probably would have did a better investigation than whoever.
Listen, stop watching this court. Stop. Listen. Hello. Hello. Stop watching the pre recorded stuff on television. Man, you better off watching the YouTubers. You'll get more reality than what you'll ever get on those shows. That's not the truth. They solve crimes better on the internet. Man, bye.
Investigated Dolph murder. Where's she at? We need her back because ain't no way, y'all. I mean, like, after everything is over with and stuff like that, we can point the finger and we can blame people and stuff like that. But in this situation right here, it is this young Dolph we talking about, y'all. And the cold-blooded part about the whole thing is this right here. We have two major record labels down there in Memphis going toe to toe, body for body. And now it appears that CMG, they done got away with it again.
First of all, having come from again, I got to go back to my Southside Jamaica Queens thing. But listening to this right here, right? How do you name your record label cocaine music, whatever it was? I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I had to see it in writing that they had, and they spelled music some kind of crazy way. I just couldn't believe it. But this is the allegation that all of these people have that I've listened to today about whose money was longer. The paper route people and these people. I don't know what this guy is gonna say, but this what I'm gonna say. I listen to a lot of Dolph's music, right? Young Dolph's music. I've listened to a lot of songs. I think it's part of the era of if you're going to have sex with somebody, you can listen to them songs because they're going to tell you how to do it. You know, they whipping blocks, they whipping. Like they doing all kinds of stuff. I learned more about sexual activity listening to a lot of those songs. Um, Cherish the legacy. Keep moving in that spirit and grow that business. If you seek revenge on something that the government should have never pursued in the first place because they did not have all their ducks in a row, you will be further damaged by Operation Cookie Monster if you go out here and seek your own street justice. You will be causing yourself to be where those other people is at, fighting them the rest of your life incarcerated if you don't turn up stinking first. It's not worth it. You have a legacy that was a prominent record label that this guy was building out of the mud, out of the dirt, out of the grass. He did not want to be owned and operated by anybody else. He was here on his own independence. His brother bust back, took out. Like, man, you've got to look at where you've been and where you could go. Seeking revenge, it may feel sweet, but it's not necessary. Living your best life and really achieving the goals that y'all set out as a collective is a better route. You will then win ultimately something bigger than a stinky court case. All these people feeling disappointment, they are doing that and saying that to put a battery in your back for revenge. Vengeance is the Lord. Give it to Him and live your best life. Your success and not getting wrapped up in the back and forth and the response. Your success will beat out everything else. You know, I used to listen to some people's that, from on this YouTube. I met a few peoples that come from that Tennessee area, and I used to think they was just backwards as fuck. And I'm not even trying to be funny, but now I know why. Cause they live in this alternative space I ain't never heard of. When them people showed in the courtroom case, when they showed their car wash, I ain't never seen. Listen, Mama Guns, I ain't never taken her to no damn car wash that look like it's in somebody's backyard and people are hand washing the car. I ain't never seen nothing as low down as that being depicted as the car wash. There is a level of poverty that I have never seen before until I seen it here. So now I understand why they think so. Like it gave me a clearer understanding of why some people seem so backwards to me when I've been here and I've engaged with folks that come from that region. Now I understand why they so like it makes so much more sense to me. It makes so much more sense. You understand this guy Cornelius? He think that he's pulling the wool over people's eyes. It's never gonna negate the fact of what he did. He needs to sit in the trial and look at those pictures for himself. But I don't think they need to do any more trials over there with this stuff. They just need to leave it alone because they messed up in the game of life. Let's see what else this guy has to say.
Every time one of them was arrested for shooting Young Dolph, guess what happened? Guess what happened? Boys got set free. They turned them loose. Every time.
So I heard it a little bit different, but I'm gonna take into consideration that he was born there and would return there if he ever wanted to be a gangster again, right? But the way I heard it is that when Dolph was asked to identify the shooters, he declined. He let them live. In the words of Shaka Zulu's mom, when the day when she had to pick him up and bring him back through the waters because they had beat him and jumped him. She said, never again would they leave an enemy behind. Man, bye.
When he got shot in California, CMG. I'm talking about, listen, they locked this man up and everything.
Yo, they said that the dude was definitely one of them, and he refused to identify him. That's how I heard it. Now let's see how he say it.
Hey, what happened to him? Get out. Black youngster, him and his boys. The shooting down there in Carolina or Charlotte. What happened? They got locked up and then what happened? Turned them loose.
And now I heard somebody still doing time for that one. See, I don't know. I could be wrong. I gotta go asking people in the Carolinas. But I heard he was still doing time. This be too much for me.
They killed him. And go and get turned loose too? Come on, man. Come on.
Govin didn't get turned loose. A jury of his peers didn't find the evidence.
Man, look, this right here, I'm talking about, man, like, and I understand, like I said before, the gangsters, I know y'all like, nah, hood, you know what I'm saying, man, but brother, I'm not with that lifestyle no more. I mean, if that's your cup of tea and that's how you living, okay, that's how you living, but
nah, hood, I think you need to have some conversations and get some facts a little bit more straighter. Cause times has changed and we gotta evolve with the changing environment we're in.
man, look, man, if somebody killed your family member and stuff like that, man, if you ain't gonna go slide for them and all that, you will be wanting justice too. Y'all got to start looking at it like that, man. And Dolph, then I'm talking about.
Don't go sliding. Go building up. See, sliding, right? When you slide, normally when you slide, you slipping and you falling, right? That's how you slide through life. Even when you running around here with them slides on, them slides, I have you fall and bust your way. Your ASS. Listen, don't go sliding. Go climbing. Go doing things that are going to elevate you and bring you to another level and make you successful. Don't go sliding. Don't go sliding.
I ain't gonna lie, you, I'm shook. I'm shook. So you mean to tell me that they ain't proved conspiracy?
No, they didn't.
I just can't understand how y'all ain't.
Watch.
It's easy to prove, and I believe that they prove.
Watch the case. Watch the trial. And you know what? I found this channel just so y'all know on the Manny case, right? And I was all listening to him and stuff. Now I'm so changed.
Especially when they put Cornelius' girlfriend on the stand. Why hood educated? Why the girlfriend? Let me explain to y'all. Because the girlfriend connected Cornbread or Cornelius Smith to Govan. She connected them. She said she seen Orange Mound Quet.
I don't know what that was about, but the girlfriend, let me tell you something. These side chicks in man, listen. She was definitely, first of all, she's an older woman. She said she had grandchildren. I think there's a mentality there. There's a mentality there. There's a group. There is women that will um coddle, for the least word, nurture somebody who is terrible. Like, we're talking about a man who's addicted to drugs and she's just enabling him. This is another Memphis story. I never believed that somebody would be addicted to some kind of drugs and they would have a partner that's not addicted to anything. But I'm going to say this again. Homegirl was in the courtroom with a boot on. And I suspect, this is just me. This I'm as bad about being as bad as this dude is right now, and in the fact that he didn't really watch the court case, and in the fact that I'm just gonna make an assumption that that's wrong. I feel as if she was wearing an ankle monitor and they put that boot on her to prevent the rest of the world from seeing that she was under suspicion of something. But even if she's not, the picture she painted for herself makes it look like she's an enabler of somebody, and then she's still calling him her boyfriend when he should be locked up for life because he took a life. He could still be your boyfriend. Yeah, hell, y'all could still get married, but at the end of the day, man, we didn't even get to see. No, they. Yo, let me tell you something. When I saw them pants, them little pink pants with the man, I be like, Monica, I don't even be talking about people like that. I normally don't even engage in conversation like that, but she looked like she rolled up to court like she just was going to the laundromat or something. The shirt looked all stretched out of, like, I was just like, "Oh my. Oh my." I wouldn't be surprised if they had just let her out of jail, and I'm being funny. If they just let her out of jail to testify. I was, yeah, man. I was like, but I bet you her hair was all hooked up and all. Man, listen, I didn't know what to say when I saw that. I didn't know what to say when I saw that. I was like, thank goodness they didn't show your face, girl. Bye, girl. Bye. Nobody want to see that. I was I was shook. That's what had me shook. That's exactly what had me shook. I was just like, but it gives you. I hope you could read between the lines of what I'm saying. When these men who ain't worth shit try to make you think they worth something, they will always have that kind of woman behind them supporting they're not supporting that kind of nonsense. That's just crazy to me. That enablers.
And her boyfriend, Cornbread, meet up at the store And Orange Mountain Quet gave him his phone. The same phone that he left in the murder vehicle. He went in there and grabbed the phone for the man and brought it to him. Wow.
Okay, here's the thing. There was no evidence of that even happened. There was no evidence. They didn't show us where the cell phone, they didn't have no evidence of the man's fingerprints on the car, but he could have been wearing gloves. They don't have any evidence. They don't have no evidence of that. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all parked some stolen car on my block. I'm calling the police. Okay? I'm calling the police. A car gets parked on my block and it's missing its side mirror, this side window because it got shot out. I'm calling the police. Hello, I'm calling the police. That's what's going that's what's going down. That's what Hernandez should have done. He should have called the police. He wouldn't be in this situation. This thing is crazy.
Would he do that if he wasn't connected? Why would she get up there and lie about something like that? She ain't being convicted of nothing. She
She
ain't
should
indicted
have.
or nothing like that. Why would she get on the stand and
First of all, see, she should have been tried for something. She went. First of all, he told her she's not married to him. So she doesn't have, see, let's talk about legalities. She doesn't have um any immunity from testifying against her husband cuz that ain't her husband. She went and picked him up. He done told her first she didn't believe him, so she said, but she done picked him up, then drove him around. No, he done got shot up after killing somebody, and she is carrying him around. That's an accessory after the fact. All of these people, even Govin, whatever the heck his name is, he did the same thing, supporting su- supporting his behavior. He did the same thing. Um, well, I'm not sure if it was a rush because maybe his attorney submitted a speedy trial request. That's the right that you have. This murder took place in 2021. They tried the other defendants last year. I don't remember when they arrested him on this case, but he better be glad that he wasn't tried with them because he might have been found guilty by association with their nonsense. Just he's lucky that that didn't happen. That's what I'm gonna say. He's lucky that he didn't get tried when the first that he got his own trial that they severed him because that provided him an opportunity um to fight another day. Okay, hold on.
lie about something like that? That woman got up there and told the truth. I believe Cornbread told the truth, regardless if he is snitch and he got something to gain and all that old type of stuff. But when you look at the whole play, he was trying to stay down until they kept playing on him, kept playing.
You believe Cornbread told the truth. Okay. Why wasn't there any evidence to support Cornbread's truth? That's all I'm saying. Why didn't the prosecutors take the time to find the evidence to connect with Cornbread's truth? What was my song for today? Who stole the cookie out the cookie jar? The prosecutor stole the cookie out the cookie jar. Who, them? Yes, the prosecutor. Couldn't be. Then who? Man, Covens. Mm, I would probably move out of Texas, out of here too. I wouldn't even go to Texas either, because they seem to be finding people everywhere associated with this with these two labels or whatever. Who stole the cookie out the cookie jar? I just can't believe the police department named this crime Operation Cookie Monster. The disrespect is just unwavering to
Man
me.
on him. Then he said, "Man, you know what? I'm gonna tell, man, because y'all remember what he said. He said when he went to go meet Govan, when he seen him, what happened after that? The next day, the U.S. Marshals was kicking his door down. Listen,
Oh, that's because
Govan,
that's because they're trying to say Govan is a federal snitch, and that's why he walked and all this other stuff. Man, listen. Man, listen.
from all I'm talking about, I reported this a long time ago. Govan been an informant. Yes, Orange Mount Quet was a federal informant, getting people locked up for murders, getting people locked up for drugs and all type of stuff. But somehow he stayed connected to the streets. And now he's being released on one of the largest cases in Memphis. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, look, this got me, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I can't even. And I know it got a lot of y'all too. I'm talking about because man, like how he beat it. I, I mean the fact that before the murder, they was exchanging phone calls and text messages and stuff like that. After the murder, they exchanging phone calls and text messages and stuff like that. These are the connections, right? I mean, at least in my eyes, I mean, these are the connections. I mean, the murder vehicle parked right next to Orange Mound Quest's house. Why did they bring it there? I'm gonna tell you why they brought it there because they felt
Wait a minute. Now he's calling this guy Orange Mount Quest.
comfortable. Like we can bring it over here. We know this area. Why? Because we come over here. We frequent this area to come and meet with Quest. So yeah, they took it over.
They left it over there because it was an abandoned house. And guess what? Let's explore his theory a little bit further. They left it over there because of the abandoned house, right? The testimony showed that Cornbread said, I wanted to go on the property, but he said something to the effect he didn't want the dude across the street, which is this dude that was on trial, to shoot him for being over there trespassing, messing with the white car. They parked it over there, so when they went to go get their drugs from him, right, whatever they was smoking, drinking, shooting, whatever they was doing, they would be able to watch the car while they was over there. I'm gonna need people to stop acting like they dodo birds and that they don't get this, cause this is not no rocket science right here. You had to have listened to the testimony and heard what they said. Maybe you would understand why why they did what they did, why they felt comfortable enough doing what they did. I just be lost without a course. Hold on a second. I'm gonna listen to what he informs me about because he's educating me.
Over there. And quit telling them to clean the car off and giving that man money to go buy stuff to cover the car up and everything and all that. Allow me to say this before I depart. Before
Oh, I believe he gave him some money. Because I believe he gave him some money to get out of town because he probably told him what he did. And he probably aided him at that point, but not because he was a code. Well, this would have made them some other kind of, they would have all been accessories after the fact. I mean, I think you just got to hear that dude say the stuff out of his mouth for yourself.
Because a lot of young brothers, a lot of gangsters, people that still live in that lifestyle, to look at this case and look at him beating this murder and believe to themselves that they got a shot at it, that it is a possibility that they can continue to.
He didn't beat a murder. He beat a conspiracy to murder somebody. He beat being somebody that helped plan something, but didn't show. He wasn't the person that murdered the person.
live that lifestyle, and if they get a nice enough lawyer that they can end up beating murders. Let me tell y'all something. The mass majority of you gangsters that probably pay attention to this channel, y'all probably ain't got the money that Govan had behind him. That lawyer that he had, Manny, has got multiple rappers off cases and multiple drug dealers and murders and stuff like that. He's a high priced lawyer. He's not no chump change lawyer. Um, so 9 times out of 10, you probably ain't gonna be able to afford that type of lawyer. But not only that, I don't want people to get it misconstrued and believe that it's that easy to beat murders. It's not that easy. It's not. And usually when they charge,
Usually, when they charge somebody with this, you would it would be difficult to beat this kind of case because they have evidence to support whatever they said was the conspiracy. They didn't show their evidence. We need to know why they didn't show their evidence.
you with murder and stuff like that, they have the type of evidence to prove that you did the murder, or they have the type of evidence to prove your conspiracy to the murder. So don't get it twisted and be thinking that you know that you Hernandez Govan and that you possibly can beat murders and all that type of stuff when you got your co-defendant testifying, because usually it don't go that way. So let's clear that up. What happened with Orange Mound Quet seldomly happens. Usually when people go to trial for those murders, they get banked. They get life in the penitentiary. We see it all the time. Stuff like this, you gangsters, y'all can rejoice in, but you got to understand one thing. This don't happen all the time. There's more men locked up for murderers and crimes and drug dealing and everything that harms than there are people that beat these type of cases. Come on, let's just keep it real. Y'all be honest with yourselves. Y'all got more homies that are locked up for murders, for committing crimes, than y'all got homies that done went to trial and got turned loose. So that should tell y'all that this thing right here is abnormal. Don't entertain in your mind and think that, oh, this is normal practice, man. I go to trial, I probably can beat it. I put 12 people on the jury, I probably can beat it. This is abnormal. But you can play with your life if you want to. You can take a chance if you want to. You can continue doing what you're doing if you want to. And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out like this. Period. It's not going to work out like this. And you have the evidence to prove it because it's all around you. All you got to do is just look at your homeboys that's locked up in a state or a federal penitentiary right now today. This is hood educated, not lane related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Now, before I depart, allow me to give a shout out to some of the blessings that I received this week. Allow me to give a shout out.
All right, I can't. I gotta give a moment of silence for that. I just gotta give a moment of silence for that. Let me see where I want to go. Let me see where I want to go. I'm just like I'm so torn. I'm so torn. Sliding for Dolph. All right, hold up. Hold up. Yeah, they done transformed this woman. Who paid Cornelius Smith to turn on Justin Johnson? Yo, y'all killing me. Y'all is really killing me. The city of Memphis responds to Jovan's not guilty. Well, who is that? Just say no to SKO. All right, I don't know that. Um, let me go to a more safer place. Where do I want to go? This is sad. I just never knew that so many people I didn't foresee this coming. Um I would have thought more people would have been disappointed in the case that the government put forward than what I've seen come from what I've seen so far. But when I'm looking at the comments that are here, oh, hold up. Let me do the comments are crazy. It's just it's crazy. I should have spent some time looking at that. The comments are crazy. Then he's got the whole murder, the to view the complete Young Dolph video. Click the link. This is I can't. Let's look at. I wonder if she speaks through this. Let's look at the testimony.
Listen to us in yellow, immediately submit the screen just so you can see the flow of things. And so essentially,
No, I don't want. Hold up. Let me just find. I tried to go to me, view your channel. Then I want to go to my history because you know something wrong with me. Home. Ooh, they got the Hobonichi collection. Oh, I want to see that. Why Young Dolph murder suspect found not guilty. I gotta see because he didn't have the case. I gotta see what he says. Why they got the whole I missed it. Wait till I see they had a whole video on the Hobonichis coming out. And I do not see horses. All right. I'll be watching that in a minute. Let me see if there's anybody else's. I'm looking through here to see if there's anybody else's take on this that I want to explore. Mm, I think I'm over it. Hernandez Govan reacts to not guilty verdict. All right. I just think you need to go watch these when you. So it's one thing to speculate when you don't have an opportunity to view this stuff for yourself. Go listen to the case for yourself. Again, it's 3 days. It's not that much time. It's like a good binge watch. It's a good binge watch. And then see what you come up with. There's video after video on the internet of people saying that this guy was not guilty, that the police department is corrupt, and that they're in favor of um who they in favor of, that one rap group after over another. Don't fall for the bait. Anyway, I'm gonna go and watch my Hobonichi videos and see what kind of planners is out for the new year. For the new planner season, and that's what I'm gonna preoccupy my time with. And I appreciate those of you who stopped by. I appreciate those of you who will watch this in what do they call it? Who will watch this in the replay? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Um, Let me know your thoughts on this. I think this closes this chapter, and that's it. Anyway. This is Mo. I've got to go. Thank you, Carla, for stopping by. Risa for dropping in. Elemental P for dropping in. I want to thank the folks from the morning stream that came in while I was watching the verdict come through and spending this week with me as I try to go live in the daytime while I was, on vacation. But I return to my full life in the next 24, well, not in the next 12 hours. I return to my full life, and it's not on YouTube all day. It's back to a regular day. But anyway, I've enjoyed the past 4 days with y'all doing this thing. Reminding me of what it was like DC during COVID. But I kind of like the way life is these days. Anyway, this is Mo. I've got to go. Now let me figure out how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here to end that. Okay.